All right. Well, this has been a blast, everybody. Thanks for, listening to me and all the donations and stuff during the last couple runs. I had a lot of fun. I'm going to pass this off to CJ. Have a good night.
Finally, CJ has come back to SDAT. Hello, everyone. It is me, CJ. It's all good. The MC with the most, the host with the most, the master of ceremonies. Damn, diggity, damn. But let me tell you who I am. We have a great show. We are finally ready for Banjo-Kazooie 80% no FFM, because FFM is for some people that prefer FFM. I won't disparage people that try to use a glitch that saves a bunch of time, but no, FFM is metal. We have Thunderstorm coming up next with commentary by GoGo TBC. We have an incentive for that, which is to do a bonus randomizer run. You guys can keep SDAT weekend, SDAT 21, weekend 2, day 4 going for another 2 hours. Thank you so much to Gaffy Taffy. Thank you so much to everybody who did runs tonight. Logic was great. We hit 3K. Chris was awesome during that run. We had Clock. That was a lot of fun. Sorry about Crash not getting that to work, but everything has just been so great. So we know you're in for a treat. Thunderstorm is about to tear the house down, and you, that's right, you can get that bonus rando going for, let me take a look. We are $124 away, so you have the entire run to do it. You have the whole run to do it, and then some. We have 2 incentives for tomorrow. One of them will have to meet tonight or really early before the run starts tomorrow. We are really close to that one as well. We are $80 away. So, alrighty. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much, everybody who's been watching. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause. Hear a message from Save the Children, our wonderful charity beneficiary. And when we come back, we'll be kicking off the road to the end. Thunderstorm doing Banjo-Kazooie.
بدي أدخل الجامعة ونفسي أصير لما أكبر دكتورة جلدية.
بحب أكون مهندس معماري عشان أبني وطني من جديد.
లాయరైతే ఎవరైనా భార్య భర్తను విడిపోతే వాళ్ళని కలపాలని కోరుకుంటున్నాను.
أما كرلا سولير فاجي.
في صعوبة للبوليس.
أكبر بدي يطلع دكتور أطفال.
دكتور عيون.
The boss of the company.
أنا بوصف حالي إني أنا مجتهد، أنا بثق بحالي وأنا متعلم.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for hanging out. You didn't go touching that dial, so you're still here, and that's great. We have a great block coming up ahead of you. We have Banjo-Kazooie, 80% no FFM. I'm going to turn it over to our great runner tonight. He can introduce himself and his commentary. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I am Thunderstorm. I am a Banjo-Kazooie runner, and I'm here with GoGo TBC, well-known member of the BK community. He runs Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and also Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. And
Hell yeah.
today we are going to be running a not very well-known category, as I'm the only person who's ever run it, but it is any percent no FFM. So a lot of it is very similar to any percent if you've ever seen a Banjo-Kazooie any percent run, but there are some differences that make the category much more interesting and also much more difficult. So on that note, I will go ahead and get started. Let's make sure everything's good to go. Live split up. Alright, and we're off. So, Gogo, if you want to just generally explain kind of what our goals are for any percent, what makes it different from 100%, what is similar to 100%.
Alright, so normally to actually beat this game, you pretty much need to play the game at pretty much 100% because this game uses notes and jiggies as far as the collectibles go, and when you play the game casually, or as far as a glitchless playthrough goes, it usually takes 94 out of 100 jiggies, so that's almost all of them, and 810 notes out of 900, which is again 90% of the notes. However, throughout the years we have found glitches to skip a lot of jiggies, which removes about an hour from the run compared to what an intended route would be.
Yep, so the main bottleneck for Banjo-Kazooie any percent categories is notes, because at the very end of the run there is a note door that requires 810 notes. And since there are only 9 levels and 100 notes per level, and since we have not found a way to skip that note door, that means we have to enter every single level at least once.
Yeah, I do have to say it's kind of frustrating that there's still not an RTA viable way to actually do that, because we found 3 or 4 ways to actually skip that door using task tools, but they all require some extreme precision. But one of the main things that prevent any of the tricks to actually work. But yeah, what prevents any of the tricks to actually work is actually lag, because this game is actually special in the way that lag frames work. Unless the game lags a lot, the game will try to compensate at your speed when the game is lagging, so that a lag frame goes unnoticed. And so because of that, we're basically stuck with being forced to actually get 810 notes. If we were to actually be able to skip that, we could get actually only 260 notes and be able to beat the game that way, and we would save somewhere around 40 minutes compared to the run that we're showcasing right now. But at the moment, it's stats only.
Nice conga beating his chest there. That's unfortunate RNG. Have to wait for him to beat his chest before he'll throw an orange at you. So yeah, what you're gonna see mostly with this category is enter a level, run through it as fast as you can, collecting basically as many notes as possible, and also, since it's no FFM, learning some moves. And then some sort of difficult trick to glitch into the level. That is interesting that jiggy went that way. That does not normally happen.
You probably killed an enemy.
That is what I've heard caused it, but I'm not sure if I did this time. It might have had something to do with Big Butt.
Oh yeah, maybe you probably hit it.
But yeah, it'll be basically trying to fly through every level as fast as possible, and in between levels doing all the hard tricks to enter them without actually unlocking them.
Yeah. Because notes are only used to actually open note doors, which we're gonna see as soon as we exit this level. And jiggies are used to actually open the levels that we need to enter to get these notes. And in case you're wondering, we will not be getting 94 jiggies.
Not even close. Who in the chat there would like to guess how many total jiggies we will be collecting in this run? I will say it is more than we get in regular 90% with FFM. 69 says Gaffy. A little bit high. Unfortunately, we just collected 5 jiggies so far, so 3 is low.
Yeah, we also got
Actually,
one
6,
outside
yeah.
the level. Yeah.
We get a lot in Mumbos.
Yeah. You know, with that pace you're on with collecting jiggies, we might actually be collecting a lot.
True. And yes, I did say Big Butt earlier. If you didn't know the name of that bull that bullied me earlier, his official name is Big Butt.
Yep. Official lore there.
Alright, so we are coming up on our first difficult trick of the run. But compared to other tricks in the run, it is somewhat easy. I still might mess it up, so let's
Yeah.
hope for the best.
So you'll see right now that Sunder will be passing in front of a puzzle that he could be using to open a level right now, and that's because we're actually gonna be able to do some fancy out of bounds shenanigans to actually be able to enter the level early.
Oh, that's not ideal. Alright. So
Oh,
I was close. Unfortunately, I fell out of the water a little bit earlier than I anticipated.
Yeah, I guess you want me to keep quiet for the swimming, right?
Swimming shouldn't be too bad, but
Alright.
let's see. There we go, we're in. Second try.
Nice. And that allowed us to skip 2 jiggies out of the 94. Every jiggy counts. Not only did we skip 2 jiggies, so we saved like, I don't know, like 10 seconds getting 2 of them. We also get to skip the level and like the semi-long animation that we have to go through, and so the skip actually saves time even if you don't consider jiggies into account.
Yep, top runners actually do that trick in 100% runs. It saves about 7 seconds if done optimally. But I would say in this category, doing that trick optimally would save probably around 30 seconds. So there I probably didn't really save much time, if any at all, because I failed it. But it's still cool to see.
Yeah. So one thing we should note is Mambo tokens. This is probably the category with the tightest route on Mambo tokens, and we'll probably get every single one that we'll be able to see on our way. Simply because we will be using transformations very early on in the speed run, and those transformations are quite expensive in terms of the usage of Mambo tokens. Also, I could add like a funny note about TTC early, and it's the fact that for the longest time that trick was thought to be emulator only, because that trick was actually found on emulator and nobody could replicate it until like multiple years later when somebody actually tried it while trying to like maximize lag. It's funny because the first the first method to actually do it, RTA, was by pooping eggs to have like as much stuff on screen at once to lag the game. Nowadays we just turn the camera and it's just enough lag to actually clip through the cannon. Because obviously the cannon that we use to actually clip to that level has a hitbox, but because we go fast enough with lag, we can actually clip through it. And with that we can use out of bounds water to actually swim in.
Definitely don't miss that egg strat.
Yeah, that was the jankiest thing ever. But don't worry, this is not the only level that we'll flip into.
Not by a long shot. And if you're wondering how I keep diving into the water super fast like that, that is called a quick dive. And quick dive works by exiting Talon Trot as you enter the water. So you're doing the animation to exit Talon Trot, and the game doesn't register that you're in water until that animation is complete. So you just drop all the way down. It's a nifty trick.
Oh no, you died.
There's the first death warp of the run. And now we're coming up to arguably the most difficult trick of the entire run. I think for me it's probably the second most difficult, but that's because I really hate dog.
Yeah.
But this is a tough trick. There's a bit clip right at the end, and that is the easy part. After the bit clip, it gets hard. So I will also grab, there's an extra life right here. I'm gonna grab it because I died doing TTC early, and live counts are actually a little tight in this category. So I'm gonna grab this extra life and hope I don't die doing this trick.
Yeah. So basically the trick that he's about to do is extremely precise. Like, it's more precise than you think. Like, to give an example, to give an idea of how precise it is, even if you were on the correct pixel, like there wouldn't be any other way to tell that you're right or wrong. You would still have about a 1 in a trillion chance of actually doing that if you were to do it blind and just smash your head everywhere. So this is why he's actually doing a really precise setup, using movement that always travels the same distance. The funny thing about that, like that kind of clip, is that it was found RTA somehow, because for whatever reason in Banjo-Kazooie, which is the sequel to this game, like coming out of a loading zone, there's just like a loading zone just happens to put you like in the perfect spot to just hold up and down on the joystick to clip through. And within some investigations, we've been able to know that, to understand that it's actually really precise.
All right, we're in.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you. That is a very, very difficult trick, and it gets very nerve-wracking when you get towards the end of the trick, because like every part of that trick after the bit clip is very difficult. It requires super precise out-of-bounds movement, and you have to go fast because you are taking damage the entire time, and in any percent, you only have 5 health.
Yeah. And like, just as a note as to how water works in this game, like, as long as you keep being underwater, like, the water extends infinitely down, but as soon as you leave the water, you cannot enter it from the bottom. Like, you have to actually hit the plane of water to actually enter it. So if you leave it and try to save yourself by going back into the water, you'll most likely find out most of the time. So even the water navigation is hard.
Yep. And then right at the end, when you clip back underneath the area where the load zone is, if you're not careful, you could clip back inbounds and then have to do the entire trick over again.
But I have a question for you, Thunder.
Yep.
I never saw Clanker's Cavern in this run.
Huh.
Did you forget to do it?
Did I forget? I must have forgotten. I'll have to go back later.
That's fine. It's gonna
Oh
be a quick
no!
run.
That's not ideal. I missed a note. Alright.
Oh no.
We can just pretend that didn't happen, right? We'll be saw that. This camera?
Yeah. Notes have special hitboxes in this game. Sometimes you can just run through them and they will not count. But as far as like the size of the hitbox goes, it's like about the size of the texture. So sometimes you try to just cut corners a little too tight and this happens.
Yep. And if you're wondering why we even got wading boots, here is why.
Yeah.
With only, so in 100% routes, you can actually do this whole thing without the wading boots. But because we only have 5 max health, you absolutely need the wading boots to get through the whole maze.
And it would help if we had gold feathers at this point, but sadly we don't.
Yep, that is another thing about this category. For those of you who've played Banjo-Kazooie, you know how incredibly useful Wonder Wing is, which is the gold feathers. It's basically invulnerability and can kill any character in the game. We don't get to use that move in this category. Nice backflip.
Also gotta love this shortcut right there.
Okay, this is fine. That was almost really bad. I almost just died.
Ooh.
We have to kill this guy though, and not take damage from him.
It's easier said than done because these frogs can really kill you despite you hitting them.
Hecking does not have as consistent of a hitbox as you might think it does.
Yeah, sometimes you just peck an enemy and you're like, and the game's like, nope, you take a hit instead.
So here's the second level that we are opening up.
Yeah.
Again, if you are aware of runs for other categories, you might be aware of the trick called FP Early, where we don't open this level. However, that trick uses a move called Beak Bomb. And the level in which you learn Beak Bomb is Breezy Peak, so we cannot do that trick in no FFM.
Alright, how many more jiggies do we have to collect?
So, for those of you keeping track, we have collected so far, what is it, 9 jiggies or 8?
9.
9 jiggies. And we are not going to open up a single level for the rest of the run. So if you guess 9 jiggies, you are unfortunately wrong, because we still collect 1 more jiggy in the run.
Got him!
And if you're wondering why, stick around for the end of the run and you'll find out.
Alright, so we're pretty much done with jiggies. We don't need any of them.
We don't
but
need
we
it.
but we still need to get Mumbo tokens and still a lot more notes.
Exactly.
So, as a matter of fact, I think we will get all 100 notes in this level. Just because they're all conveniently placed in a straight line throughout the level.
As a speedrunner, I have to say, Freezy Peak in any percent is one of the... Oh, shoot. Get out of here. That was a mistake. Freezy Peak is one of the most satisfying levels in any percent to run because you just kind of fly through it. You just go in, get 100 notes, and get out.
Yeah, it's all movement. Though we do have to stop a little bit to talk to Bottles.
Yep, now we learned Beak Bomb, which is a very useful move for what I'm about to do right here and for the final boss, and that's it.
I gotta say the game does feel a lot faster once you're done with jiggies, just because
really
you don't
does.
have to stop in place every time you collect one.
It is a very satisfying feeling when you are running 100% and then you switch to any percent and you're already in Freezy Peak and it's only 20 minutes into the run.
Yeah. I think in 100% you would enter the level, I think, about 45 minutes into the run, right? So that's
Something
about
like
twice
that,
as
yeah.
long.
Alright, now coming up here is probably the hardest part of Freezy Peak. We have to get a bunch of notes in the ice water where we take damage, which isn't a big deal because we're setting up for a death warp. But if we can end this with 2 health instead of 1 health, it saves us a decent amount of time, but it's very difficult to do that. Almost, but not quite.
And in case you guys didn't know, you can actually punch snowballs for health.
I'm kind of glad I ended it with 1 health because then I got to show that off.
Yeah.
As much as I
It's
played
like-
this game as a kid, I never knew that, and it blew my mind the first time I learned it.
I do believe that it's the only infinite source of health that this game has, right?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, because you can just keep punching snowballs over and over, and you'll get a honeycomb each time. Though at some point they will stop spawning just because there's too many of them at once. But if you collect a few, then they will start spawning again.
Alright, we're coming up on bit clip number 2. Probably the most well-known bit clip in this game because it was the first one to be utilized in speedruns of this game. It is Mad Monster Mansion Early.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This clip not only saves time in any percent, it saves a lot of time in 100%. That is how useful this trick is.
Yeah, because they put the puzzle in like the worst possible spot.
So we have to open that gate, and the fastest place back to the load zone is to void out up here. Oh, don't fall.
Oh. Yeah, here's some funny collisions, and now it's time to do another another setup that's close to what you'd see in an Ocarina of Time speed run. As I said before, even if you know that you're in the right spot, you still have a 1 in a trillion chance to actually be in the actual correct spot if you're guessing. So you guys might have never seen any percent no FFM before, and it's because it's like a brand new category. As a matter of fact, Furnace Fun Moves, which is the trick that we banned in this category, was found in I think 2015. But recently, at least in the last 2 years, there's been quite a rise in popularity for the no OFFM categories, just because some people thought that running by actually learning the moves was actually better. I will say that the biggest upside from that is the fact that you can just restart runs immediately, because setting up the glitch takes about 2 minutes between runs.
It is quite a nice perk of this category. Sunder, first try storm. You clearly did not see my TTC early, CJ or CC.
So Sunder is playing on the American version of the game, and I believe that these bit clips would probably also work on the Japanese version of the game, but there's no way that they work on the PAL version, just because the game runs at a lower frame rate, so the speed that you get per frame on the PAL version is different.
Yep.
So all the setups that you're seeing now just don't work for the European/Australian version.
Yep, so bit clips for sure work on every version of the game. It's just a matter of finding them. Bit clips would even work on the Xbox versions of the game, but there are currently no tools that... Oh, that's not ideal. I would like that health. Ah! Alright. Yeah, there are no tools. Yeah, go 100% go for it.
Alright, we have a $24 donation from, I'm going to do my best with his name, Nonch Scrunkle. This category and all the glitches are blowing my mind right now. So, thank you, Nonch Scrunkle. We are at $200, or $100 away from the Banjo randomizer instead of being met. Can we get a train going? You know, choo-choo. Hang on, where's the train whistle? Here we go. I have a train whistle. All aboard!
Did you hear that whistle? We gotta get that incentive now. Come on. Choo-choo.
Look at this Jiggy. Nah, we're not getting it.
Who needs that Jiggy? Not me. I just want the notes. The notes and the Mumbo token. Oh boy, okay, well that's not good. That's actually really bad. I'm gonna have to find a source of health somewhere, because having 2 HP is actually really bad here.
I've never seen that goes there before.
I'm actually gonna come over here and kill this Ripper, because 2 health is not enough to get through this level.
Is that a common thing that it can happen when you do that North Order?
I honestly have never gotten hit by those Tikis in any percent, so first time for everything. And yes, those monsters... Oh my gosh! Those ghosts are in fact called teehees. Again, a classic rare. Alright. Nice long way around there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a bunch of funny names that they use for enemies in this game. I would tell you what the name that they use for the Ice Cube enemies, but sadly it is the name is actually banned on Twitch because for whatever reason it's considered like a racist name or something.
Definitely don't think it was meant that way, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, that is you can't say that one on Twitch. That's you can Google it, but you definitely can't say it.
Look, there's a Jiggy here, but I don't want it.
You look at all these Jiggies that you're passing by.
So, if you were wondering... Oh, I really can't get hit by this guy. If you're wondering why I needed that health, here is why. There's a token in there that I need. It takes 2 hits to get it.
And now it's time for the pumpkin parkour.
Pumpkin parkour.
That's the best name for a strat TBH. Can just jump on that hedge and head straight for the well.
Alright, so 1 health well is very scary. Normally I try to come in here with 2 health, so I am gonna, you know, do some safe marathon strats here. Alright, and we're good. 90 notes. The last 10 notes in Mad Monster Mansion are inside the church. And those are some very slow notes to collect, so we do not get those notes.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering, there are backup notes, not very many, but there are.
Definitely not very many.
Yeah, the backup notes are pretty much all in the first half of the run, so if there were to be a mistake in the second half of the run, then Thunder would probably be better off of redoing a level.
Yep. So now, we need to come in here. So this is the entire reason we needed all those tokens. We need 45 tokens total in the route. 20 of them are to be the pumpkin solely so we can hit that switch. If someone finds a way to get through this game without hitting this switch, it would save a lot of time. In both 100% and any percent. Love that most strats in Banjo involves dying. Definitely recommend watching some Banjo-Kazooie speedruns then, because there are a lot more death warps in that game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Banjo-Kazooie, you do not lose your note progress when you die, so they just death warp all over the place, and they have infinite lives.
Another thing with Banjo-Kazooie is that with split up paths and transformations that you get to use with the game, you get to change your respawn location multiple times in the run, so it allows for even more time saves by dying.
Alright, coming up on another trick here. It's called 640 skip. And it is probably the easiest skip in the entire category.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But immediately after it is one of the most difficult ones.
Yeah. I've heard that 640 skip was a bit harder on Xbox.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
Even though there's no lag in this place, I don't think so. It still behaves differently.
See if we can get the nifty quick dive here, and we got it.
Nice.
It saves like seconds, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it's especially good when you get the one that puts you all the way at the bottom. Like, you can definitely enter Talent Trot while still being on the platform, but it really doesn't look as cool. Alright, so now Thunder's gonna raise the water and just clip through some ledges. And as you guys probably learned by now, underwater is really OP in this game, so we can just reach that loading zone from out of bounds.
So normally for Click Clock Wood Early, you can just kill this guy in the middle of the trick by using gold feathers, but since we don't have gold feathers, we have to kill him now.
Also, this trick sucks. This is not the hard trick, but this is not the hard trick that Thunder was talking about, but that backflip just sucks because it can take multiple tries. So
That was the most ideal time to get Grunty Text, probably.
yeah. So alright, so Thunder's gonna be setting up another bit clip, but this time starting all the way from the puzzle switch. And you might be wondering why the puzzle switch, or why like not the loading zone that we used to. Oh, you failed the pause.
I did fail the pause, so this is where things get interesting. Because that guy that I kill him because we don't have gold feathers. All subsequent attempts, he's gonna be there, so I have to just hope for good RNG now.
Oh no. But yeah, why are we doing it from the puzzle switch? It's because the loading zone that you use to actually enter the room actually causes a lot of lags, and as discussed before, lag is not good for tricks like that.
Third tries the charm.
And
Nope.
yeah, click like.
Oh boy, this is very unfortunate. So normally, in any other category... where is this thing? In any other category, you can just gold feather him when he's there, and then do the trick. That is not really possible here.
And it's kind of funny that because Click Like literally used to be thought to be impossible, but then I was like, why don't we start from the puzzle switch? And people were like, oh, yeah. And therefore, that the setup for this was found.
Alright, that was not a fail. So now I just have to do the actual bit clip.
Yeah. So that pause that Thunder had to do there's 3 frames that each correspond to a different setup. And every time you see Thunder like jumping for seemingly no reason, he's actually punching 1 frame before jumping. And he uses the jump to actually interrupt his punch so that he can move forward a tiny but precise amount of distance. And all of these are frame perfect. So for a trick like Click Clock Literally, you can expect to actually have to hit about 10 frame perfect inputs.
Fortunately,
To
you
nail
get
the
multiple
trick.
tries at him, though.
Yeah. If you press B and A at the same time, I think it counts as if you didn't press B at all, so you can just like try once more.
Yep. The only one that you don't get to just try again is the very first one when you're in Talon Trot. That one you gotta nail first try, and that's why we have multiple frames that we have setups for. All the rest of them you can just like keep trying until you get them.
Yeah. We could technically have more setups, but at this point, like, it's better off of just trying to hit like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Especially when finding these setups like requires a lot of brute forcing. Like shoutouts to Ring Rush and 8-Bit Beast who actually like wrote some scripts to actually find all these setups. And shoutouts to Falcon for actually finding that bit clips were actually a thing, since he's the one that actually pulled the very first bit clip RTA, and then with further investigation, the people were able to know how these clips work. And for those that missed the first two, know that these clips are precise to 1 trillionth of a pixel. It's 1 million, but in both directions, X and Y.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, it's Nimpak. He's there.
I want your help.
That can only mean one thing.
Ninpalk skip will not be nice to me, or will be nice to me. One of those two. But
It depends. Nimpak, how good will this skip be?
and
The
will it
man
be a
himself
picture
is there.
glitch?
You gotta ask permissions first before having a good run like that.
Speaking of asking permission, can I jump in really quick?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I just want to let everybody know, if you're keeping score at home and you're looking at the fancy number on the bottom of your screen, we're $100 dues away from the Banjo-Kazooie randomizer incentive. We're close. You know, we're really close. We've never missed an incentive at SDAT, ever. Going back to ICA-Aid, which was the first event we ever organized, SDAT 2020 launch party, which was this year, and SDAT 21, we have not missed a single incentive. Even for runs that didn't happen, apparently. We haven't missed an incentive. So, you know, a little goes a long way. We're raising money for Save the Children. Let's save those kids. And I really want to, I'm being honest, I really want to fucking see the randomizer. I
It's
don't know
pretty
what this
cool.
looks like. This is my favorite game. I'm like, there's a randomizer in this vlog? What? So, get those donations and help me help you. Alright. And, you know what? What else? What else we got? At 3250, I will drop a link to a certain video in the chat. If you know what video it is, you know what video it is. But, it is the Lost SpeedDoc episode. Wink, wink. We'll put that in the chat. $26 with it.
Thank you. But yeah, talking about this randomizer, shoutouts to Giant Jigglypuff 3, who is currently in chat, who made the randomizer.
Absolutely.
And
He put in a lot of work on that.
And he's still actively working on it. Like recently, he's been trying to get randomized colors for your characters.
Alright, now we're coming up on fall. Fall is the scariest part of Click Clock Wood because
Because you can fall.
Because we have no gold feathers, and there are 6 notes that we need inside the snare bears. And if you didn't know, the snare bears, they're like the fly trap enemies. They do 2 damage, so if you mess this up, you could die in this level, and that is not good. Okay, so 2 damage. You can take damage once to each one, but ideally you don't.
I guess if you mess up the second one, you could probably go for the Zaba notes
That is true.
as a backup. I would say that those are probably the fastest backups at this point.
All
But
right.
yeah, those have a really funny hitbox that isn't really centered with what they look like.
We're gonna kill some birds because I'm not about to die in a marathon run. These cluckers also deal 2 damage. I could show off a really cool strat here, but I would rather kill this guy and get the health.
Look at this Jiggy though.
Who needs it? Not me.
This whole run is just Drake waving no during the hotline like me. This Jiggy no, this Jiggy no. Really quick, we had a $10 donation from Anonymous. What the heck is a banjo rando? Let's see it. So, here we go. We are $90 away. Oh my god, sorry to interrupt. We have another $26 from Nimpal. Free the lost episode. Alright, let me go get that link. I will drop the lost episode's link in chat for y'all.
Alright, so we are coming up on the 4th and final bit clip of the run.
And it's by far the easiest one.
It's a very easy bit clip. It is now done in 100% runs. And it's not saved much time, but it saves some time.
Yeah, this one only has 5 frame perfect inputs instead of 10. Really easy.
And fun fact, if you die during a void out in this game, it takes a life from you, it refills your health, but it does not reset your notes. It's a strat that is used quite a bit, especially in Click Clock Wood in multiple categories.
But yeah, you might be wondering. I feel like we missed like half of the levels so far. Haven't we? Well,
Yeah.
I guess after this level will be the best time to actually do all these levels. Now that we have everything we need.
I've also noticed that we've only gone to 3 different seasons, even though I'm pretty sure there are 4 seasons in the year.
Yeah, but winter sucks for some people, so I guess we'll give them a favor.
No winter in any result.
Alright, and now it's time for
I need this
the
extra
fun
life.
part. It's time for the fun part of this level, of this run. Now it's time for the glitch called Reverse B Adventure, which basically allows us to actually go through.
Oh no, good
pretty
thing I got
much
that
any-
life.
Oh, nice. Yeah, if you fight down with 0 HP, you game over even though you don't die. So don't do that. So yeah, by clipping through this corner of the ceiling, we can now explore all the other levels as the bee. And as you can probably guess, getting flight anywhere in a platformer will be extremely broken, and Thunder will use full advantage of that, not only to clip through levels early, but to actually save time by collecting notes faster.
This is definitely the part of any percent that deters the most runners from doing it, and the reason why 100% is very popular. But I think doing the bee is actually quite a bit of fun once you get the hang of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for anyone who has ever played a 3D platformer with flight, you can understand that controlling a bee in a level that was not made for the bee can be difficult. It can be difficult, if you know what I mean.
Got them.
I expect to see a lot of bee puns in chat for the next.
But don't worry, if you believe in yourself, anything is possible.
So how many people in chat have spent hours trying to get through this room? Didn't you know you could just fly right through it? This room here is a bit of a scary room.
So yeah, I guess we should probably mention now, but being the bee has its advantages, but one of the biggest downside of the bee is that you have no way of regaining health whatsoever, unless there happens to be floating honeycomb somewhere, because you cannot attack as the bee, so Thunder will have to be careful with his health.
Be careful.
Yes.
Whoa. We have a huge donation. I'm sorry. We have a $69.69 donation from Nimhulk saying free the randomizer.
Oh boy.
That, we have hit the incentive. We're at $3,330, which is insane. Thank you so much.
That is awesome.
Nimhulk, for your generosity. We're all really looking forward to the randomizer. I think we're all pretty excited.
And one thing that I do have to say about that donation, nuts.
Nice.
Also, one thing to note is that the bee also cannot get all the notes in the levels that it can visit. Like there's a few of these notes, for example, in this level that are behind windows. And while it is possible to clip through them, they're too slow to actually add in any percent. Just for how precise the clips are.
There is a window clip though that is done in any percent no dog, because it also gets you a jiggy. Jiggies as the bee are very fast, but unless you're opening up the door of Grunty, you don't need them.
Yeah, because each time you collect a jiggy, if you're as Banjo-Kazooie, you get the 4-second animation of hey, I got the jiggy. And then if you're in the water or something, or as a transformation, you get to skip all of that and you save 4 seconds.
Alright, so Rusty Buck, if that looked crazy, Rusty Bucket Bay is actually considered to be the easiest or the second easiest B level. And the one it's in competition with is Bubble Goop Swamp, which we've already done. So the remaining B levels are much more difficult than Rusty Bucket Bay. Let's get into Gobies, please. Alright, I'm struggling a bit here.
The funny thing is that Dimbox Cube was not even named by Dimbok. I think it was Doc, a top runner of this game, that screamed, "Oh my God, Dimbok!" when he did the trick for the first time, and it stayed.
Well, Ninpalk is the one who found it.
Yes.
Oh, alright. So Gobi's Valley is the B, has a lot of very precise B movements, very difficult. As of the B, you want to get as many notes in flight as possible because, in case you haven't noticed, the B is much faster in flight than it is while it's walking.
Yeah.
And I missed that first note and that note.
Yeah, I will say that it goes from the least crazy to the most crazy level when you're doing the B section. You do RBB, you're like, alright, that's a good warm-up. Then you get to Gobi's Valley, which has a bunch of sections where if you win, you lose a lot of time. And then you will see Clanker's Cavern, which will finally be done right after. And Clanker's Cavern is just beautiful.
Clanker's Cavern is definitely a very interesting level in this category.
Yeah. Especially as a watcher, it's like one of the most entertaining levels to watch. Because as you might guess, Clanker's Cavern has a lot of swimming, but a bee cannot swim, so how will it do in this level? Well, wait for like 3 minutes and you'll figure it and you'll find out.
That is one of the most difficult notes to get this to be right there.
Oh yeah, because you need to be like right up against that tiny rail.
Yep.
Can I pop in really quick?
Absolutely.
We have a donation for $3.64, a very particular number, you might say. Our new donation total is 33333. Quo says, I'm a fan of repeating numbers. Aren't we all? So, thank you, Quo, for the donation.
33333.
I like that. But you can see how hard this section is.
I can tell you, I am not doing this optimally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is quite difficult if you've never actually controlled the bee in this game. First of all, I recommend you pick up Banjo-Kazooie and play it because it's an amazing game, but yeah, they definitely did not design the bee for Gobi's Valley, I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Like, the worst thing with landing is that every time you take off, you take off so high and you have to fly back down to go where you want. Also, here's a funny clip there. There's a corner that has some weak head bugs that we can use to go inside this pyramid.
And we are done with Gobi's Valley. 85 notes is all we want.
And now it's time for probably the best part of the run.
Remember, I'm at 0 lives right now, and if you void out with 0 lives, it is a game over. So entering clankers, you have to be very careful not to void out.
Yeah, and 100% you usually have like a really lenient life count just because you just get 1-ups just from getting 100 notes per level, since it does give 1 when you do that. But also we reset the game in the middle of a run just because it's faster in 100%, but not in any percent. So now that we got the B and Clanker's Cavern, it's time to do nothing as intended.
What, you're saying that they didn't intend for you to get those notes before raising Clanker up?
Yeah, that section where you just get all the notes as a B, it just feels so cool when you get it right, just because it's such a precise slide. And usually missing the first note isn't too bad either, since it's the one closer to the blowhole anyway. But sometimes it does cost a cycle, because this level has a massive cycle that you actually need to catch at some point.
How many of you in chat have drowned trying to swim through this key? Why don't you just do this instead? Hey Gloop, how's it going?
The sad thing is that if you pick up a bubble as the B, it does nothing. You'd expect something weird to happen, but nope.
Missed that note there, so that was a bit slow. If you ever want to see some really impressive Banjo-Kazooie skills, I highly recommend watching Asmi's regular any % PB and just look at his B section, because his B movement is very clean and it is not something that's easy to do. You want to keep your camera in that weird angle when you're in that room, because as you're leaving, if you don't do that, it is extremely laggy and it costs a lot of time.
Yeah. And shoutouts to that extra life there hidden in the pipe.
It's 100% necessary for a death warp, because we're always at 0 lives when you enter clankers. And Asmi has done clankers as the B as well. Even though it's not done regular any %, it is done in Sandcastle %. Oh, and if you're wondering when that last Jiggy would come out, it is right now. Whoops, I messed that up. Because going around that Jiggy is slower than just going through it. So that is our 10th and final Jiggy of the run. And I got hit by that crab. You're getting anxious, yep. That's it. I think I got this note earlier than normal, yeah. Alright.
Yeah.
Walls aren't real when you're a B.
just give the bee a little bit of lag and you've got yourself a combo for a great level as the bee.
And if you ever watch other categories, you know that as Banjo-Kazooie you can walk across the side of this floor to not take damage, while as the bee, you can literally walk anywhere. In fact, it is kind of difficult to take damage in this room, as you can see. I did some safe strats by not taking damage earlier, and now I'm paying for it. Alright.
Yeah, and if you're wondering where you learn Go Feathers, it was in this room where you died as the bee. But sadly, you cannot learn moves as the bee, so we're forced to skip that move.
So the moment that every Banjo-Kazooie runner dreads is the final note door and not seeing the right note count. So we're heading to a note door, and we're hoping that the note count will say 810. If not, we're gonna have to figure out where we left a note.
At this point, I would probably say to do Click Luck Wood if you're at 809 or something.
Yeah, probably. That would be the smart thing, especially since we detransform. 69 eggs, by the way.
Nice.
And 810. We have done it. Now comes the famous Ninpalk skip.
Alright, Nimpok, what's your verdict on what's gonna happen? It's his trick after all. So there used to be a slower skip to actually skip this quiz, which involved doing about half of the board, but Nimpog just came in and found this skip that saves 2 minutes, and it's the thing that enabled sub 2 and 100% back when it was discovered.
Can I squeeze in a donation?
Yes, you can.
$50 donation from Non Schrunkle. Again, thank you, Mr. Schrunkle. BOP, all hail B. And that puts us, I think it's 36 cents away from the Tony Hawk Underground incentive, so we're running out of shit for y'all to pay for. Just keep that in mind. Thank you so much for all of the donations.
For those of you who have missed it, there is about a 20% chance that on a death square you get a picture question. If you get a picture question when you're doing the trick, it unfortunately does not work, so you have to back it up with the next one. Costs around 40 seconds when that happens.
Thanks, Nimpog.
Yeah, everyone thank Ninpalk. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see. Oh, no! Oh, boy. Alright. You want to explain that one, Go-Go?
Oh yeah, so there's, like, on the death square, there's a 10% chance where you get something, you get a question related to Grunty, which is completely random, and you have basically a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right, and Sunder just happened to get it right while he was trying to get it wrong. Thanks, Nimpok.
Thanks, Ninpalk. Alright, we did it. 3rd try's the charm.
Let's go. Alright, now it's time to do the final skip of the run. So for this trick, I don't know if you want me to explain it after.
Yeah.
There's an audio
I
cue.
kind of need, it's an audio cue, so I do need silence. I'll just say off the bat, this is a frame perfect jump.
Yes.
And I failed it. But it's fine. That's why I had to get that extra life. If I didn't get that extra life, that would have been a game over. Ooh, very close. No! The thing with this split is sometimes it can be a 40-second split. Other times it can be a 5-minute split. It just depends on what kind of day you're having.
Yeah. Not only is it frame perfect, the clip is also kind of random since you need lag to actually clip.
There we go, and we are in there.
GG.
In every other category, because you need so many eggs for Grunty Fight, you go get the egg refill. But here, I'm not doing that because I have so many eggs from having to learn eggs in the first place, and also not using hardly any during the run, that I just skip that and save like 5 to 10 seconds by not getting the refill.
Alright, there we go. So this is the fight. It goes in 5 phases, I believe. That's 4 or 5, I can't count. Yeah, it's 4 phases, and on the third one, there can be something very special that happens, where sometimes, and I do say sometimes, for no reason, the game will fail to spawn a hitbox for a target that you need to shoot. And the only way to actually save yourself from that is to die and try and do the whole fight again.
Yeah, and who's the one runner that always seems to get that soft lock?
I'm the one that actually does that. I don't know what is going on with me, but I'm cursed and I'm probably the unluckiest runner of this game in terms of that. So yeah, that happens with the second statue of this phase. If it happens. Alright, so it does seem like you were good.
Yeah.
Like it's something that's so rare, like what would you say is even like the probability of that? Probably like 1 in 30 runs or something.
Yeah, I've only ever had it happen to me once, and it was on a ROM hack on an emulator, so it is extraordinarily rare.
Like it probably like let's just put like 1 in like 100 runs, because I feel like it'd be more if I put it any higher, then we would see it more. And so far, I think in in like the 50 attempts that I did, I got it 8 times so far.
Oh boy.
Get ready on time, by the way.
Yeah, time's coming up. And that is time.
GG.
114. Not bad, not bad.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. It's like 11 minutes under us today.
Yeah.
Do you have any special mentions that you would like to say, Sander?
I would like to thank one SDAT for sure. Of course, I'm not going to be done here. I'm going to be doing the randomizer soon, but for sure, thanks to everyone at SDAT. This is a really awesome opportunity, a really awesome cause. Thanks, Gogo, for the commentary. And for this run in particular, huge shoutouts to Asmi. He definitely, even though he hasn't run this category yet, he plans to, and he put in a good amount of thought into coming up with a route for it, so it's definitely a fun category. If anybody wants to give it a try, it's very difficult but very fun. A lot of tricks to learn. Most people do decide to start with 100% when they learn Banjo-Kazooie because it is the more beginner-friendly category. I highly recommend joining the Banjo speedrunning Discord. There's lots of good resources in there. Yeah, so let's get the randomizer going.
We are gonna do a quick intermission, let you get that set up. Take a quick pause for the cause, pay the bills. When we get back, we almost ready, almost done with day 4 of SDAT 2021.